Hey guys, so welcome to part 2 of my Bleach video. So now, as we know, the announcement of Bleach airing next year 2026 is fully in greenlit effect. Now that we know Bleach is coming back next year, we have to speculate what the trailer is going to be like, as well as the small trailers. But let us skip ahead of time and talk about what Bleach Core 4 might look like. Now, as you guys know, Core 3 ended with a bang, and it closed out with such interesting ending, with Askin Naklavar talking about the history of the original Royal Guards, and I think this might play in back into the Thousand Year Blood War arc. I guess the first round when Yamamoto and the original Gote, what actually happened to them. We got a snippet of that in Core 2. And then I think we got the other snippet of the original Schutzstaffel in Core 3. Now, what's cool is that the ending of the Core 3 as well as the part of Core 2 and 3 that was interesting was that when Ukitake literally took his ability to create Mimihagi ability to the Kamikake technique, which allowed him to sacrifice himself and basically became the right arm of the Soul King. He literally became Mimihage and flew up into the royal palace. Now, this also got me speculating that, in my belief, that I feel as if Ukitake, as well as the other different limbs of Adonais, we might get a full backstory, especially the remaining parts of the Soul King, such as the heart, and we still haven't know where the legs of the Soul King are placed. But I feel as if each part of the Soul King that has gone to a different part of the dimension, I feel as if the Soul King as well as Urahara in some weird form has a connection to the noble families for some reason. I have a weird feeling that he is connected to one of the royal families of Bleach. I don't know why, but his techniques, Benihime, and all of his techniques are very ancient. Also, the secret plan that Ichibei has to basically resealing the new Soul King. Now, we know that Ichibei had a plan to make Ichigo the replacement of Adonais, but when it came to finding another candidate, we saw that when Yhwach absorbed his father, he was basically the new candidate. Because he didn't just absorb his father, he became all of the different embodiments of the different races. So he was no longer a Quincy anymore. So in a way, he had the biggest abilities, but yet now he has a flaw. With everybody that has the different strings of the different species of the Bleach universe, I think that this played along in Ichibei's cards. So when he plans on actually turning the new Soul King, he is more inclined to create an ability, just like when Urahara sealed Aizen and the last part of the arc when Aizen was transforming, but then the technique that was placed upon him was basically ridiculed due to the fact that there was a technique that was placed way before that activated, thus making Urahara a sample of the technique, allowing Aizen to be sealed. Now, are we planning on going to see the other Squad Zero members? Will they be resurrected way before, so that way they could fight along the the heroes to basically defeat Yhwach? I think it's gonna take everyone to defeat Yhwach, not just how we saw it in the manga. I think they're gonna switch a lot of things up, because I think Yhwach, they're gonna make him more nerfed compared to the different times that he was nerfed. And I think this is gonna be a very interesting fight, because having the fathers of the Shimigamis and the Quincy Uryu's dad And I think that the ability that they're gonna display and fighting Harshwald, I think that's gonna be interesting. Seeing Harshwald in full strength and ability, that's gonna be interesting. I think seeing Harshwald and what he's gonna be capable of with his almighty, even though he is half asleep. Now I'm not sure how they're gonna do this, but in the ending of Core 3, Yuhabak is still asleep, and Latoto and Giselle were defeated while he was asleep. Having that ultimate protection, he was able to be asleep while Harshwald is displaying half of his ability. Now, the Ripple World, which was the technique of Adonais, will that technique be in play again in order for him to, how would I say this, to combat the new Soul King? On top of that, we also have the abilities that Adonais has to possess the ability of the triple worlds, and that Uryu now being inherited with a little part of Mimihage, that's also interesting as well, because he was able to defeat Senjumaru with a little bit of help of Mimihage. In a way, it's like the Soul King prophesies a lot of events, so the way things were turning out had to be that way. Because if the Soul King has a stronger form of the Almighty, I think he would have seen everything that came his way, and he allowed it to happen. As well as the technique of the funeral Tensat fuel, which was the technique that Ichibe used. I think that technique will come back into play, because I don't think it was a one deal technique. Even though Yuhabak was able to peep and predict it, I think the damage was already done by the time he did it. Because the fact that he already spilled so many ink right before he's about to throw the final blow, and Yuhabak kind of predicted that, I think that this is going to come back into play. As well as the symbol of Uryu's arm, indicating that Mimihage is somewhere and somehow in full effect. The ability of stillness is also transferred to the stillness arrow, I believe, like the silver arrow that's gonna stop Yuhabak from releasing some of his abilities. And last and foremost, the connection between Adonais and Yuhabak and the time skip. I think they're gonna animate the time skip as well. And I am also thinking, will they change the entire aesthetic of the royal palace now that it was completely destroyed? Will Ichibe and the other royal guards be resurrected ahead of the fight and repurpose the entire royal palace? That is to be seen, but I know that at the end of Core 4 we might get something even special. Maybe the soul, maybe the soul, the hell arc. We might get a hell arc, probably like that, the end of like the Bleach thing. Like it might be like a year. They might do like a manga release monthly, and then from there probably like 2029 or so, or 2028, Bleach might come back with a whole new series. I might think it could be that. You know, that would be cool. Bleach take a 2-year hiatus after Core 4 and focus on its manga sales, and then come back with a whole new animation. Now we also know that the Burn the Witch is also part of the Bleach universe, so we might see the different version of soul societies in different parts of the world, so that might be very cool as well. But like I said, with the Soul King transferring his power to his son being the next Soul King, which was predicted, is Ichibe still influencing people even though he's now the Soul King? Because if Ichibe said that he spoke to Adonais, or he speaks for the Soul King, so now that Yuhabak will become the Soul King, spoiler alert, would they have to listen to him even though he can't speak, or he just speak telepathically? So like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.